Hi, I'm Dana and welcome to another episode of the Burnout Diaries. It's currently a bit after midnight on the day that my housemates moved out, and I'll be fair with you, I've been more anxious about how anxious I was going to be about this than I have been about it, if that makes sense. So I have that going for me. It's actually, in some ways, quite a big relief. I think I'm actually quite looking forward to living alone in a lot of respects. As I said that, there was a noise downstairs that is probably my cat, but my heart leapt and I'm convinced that it's something really bad. I get so extra anxious about really small things when I'm on my own. And I don't like change. I know that process. It's not even that my mind leaps to the worst case scenario though. That's the thing. It's we're jumping straight into all the ways that I feel right now. Because when people ask and when I try to deeply think about what it is that panics me in these situations, I start thinking about things and I'm like, it could be a serial killer, it could be this, it could be that, it could be anything. And the reality is, that's not already in my mind. That only comes to mind when I start trying to think about what it is. The reality is just that I have a physical reaction. I hear a sound and my heart leaps and I start feeling shaky. And it's not that I think anything's going to happen, it's that my body reacts like it's going to, you know? And that's really tough at the minute. I'm really dealing with that and not enjoying it an awful lot. The reality is that my reason for filming this is that I know I'm going to get up really late tomorrow because I'm massively putting off going to sleep right now because I feel so anxious that I know I'm not going to sleep well. And I hate not sleeping well. I hate waking up in the night feeling anxious in the dark. I would rather just prolong staying up until I'm so fucking tired that I'm just gonna pass out for 6 hours and wake up at noon, you know? But I haven't done any of the cleaning that I wanted to do. I haven't done any of the organisation that I wanted to do because I'm so fucking tired on top of feeling so anxious all the time. And I am open now that my housemate's gone. I don't have a thing in the future coming that's a big change. Otis is going absolutely wild, and I know that it's just because there's so much more space for him to run now, but it is driving me up the wall and making me so nervous and on edge, and I wish he would just stop and lay down and be cute somewhere. So yeah, I'm filming this both because I need a video tomorrow and I know I'm not waking up in time to do the things that I want to do as well as filming. That being due to the fact that I want to prolong going to sleep, so this is a great way to procrastinate going to sleep and put that off and make it a future thing that I don't have to do just yet. And obviously this is also a level of therapy. And I realise now that I didn't explain at the start what the Burnout Diaries are. And it's things like this that I know I do not remember until it's happening. Now that it's happening again, I'm having these nights where I just stay up for hours on end, feeling trapped in a paralysis type of thing. I can't actually do anything because I'm too anxious to do something. But I'm too anxious to sleep. I'm too anxious to watch anything. I'm too anxious to focus on stuff. It's the same as the last time. All I can do is be anxious, to be fair. And I keep losing my train of thought in a way that... But yeah, I've remembered now. Having this experience again and dealing with this type of anxiety again has made me remember the times that I was dealing with it when I would have been just going on to 17. I'd not long finished high school. And this was how I was every single night of my first 3 months of college up until I dropped out. And when I look back on my experience of why I dropped out of college, I'm always very the transport was really overwhelming and this was too much and it was really bright and I had to socialise and mask and it was really difficult to deal with that side of things. And all those things are true and valid. But it was also getting home and not being able to do anything. I couldn't clean up, I couldn't make dinner. I would just sit and literally, my partner at the time used to scream at me for it. I would literally get home and go on Tumblr and just sit scrolling through Tumblr until 3, 4, 5 a.m. and then go to bed and have to wake up for college at 9, you know? And it's one of those things that I do question if it's self-sabotage because I am just fucking myself up for the future, you know? I'm just making tomorrow more difficult by doing this now. But I also don't have like a coping mechanism for this, you know, like that's the thing with being in burnout again. And I think one of the large parts of why I started this series, to be fair, is that I don't have coping mechanisms for burnout, and other people's opinions and thoughts and experiences would be massively helpful, because I organise my coping mechanisms and my accommodations and my like strategies for staying alive. I've organised and developed all of those based around my day-to-day life, and all of a sudden my day-to-day life doesn't feel like my day-to-day life, and I don't feel like I'm capable of the things that I'm usually capable of. So the accommodations and the things that I've put into place aren't an appropriate level of support that I need right now. So I'm not able to maintain things in the way I usually am. I definitely have to like adjust that in some way. I don't know what I'm supposed to do. I don't know how to help myself in any way. I know breathing exercises. I know, like, I have like my little, like, I journal, I do my breathing like I take the piss out of breathing exercises, but I also do them a lot. I've done guided meditations again recently, like the mindfulness ones, because I will do anything to try and feel less anxious. The issue is that it doesn't fucking work, you know? And I do think that's largely because I'm doing things that are like for anxiety, and autistic anxiety and burnout anxiety, and this type of anxiety isn't what that's catering to. So it does feel like a bit of like a group community project call out type thing, where it's like I need other autistic people to like tell me how to get through this. And I need something beyond people saying, oh, rest, because I don't know how to rest when I feel like this. I can't rest when I feel this anxious. I feel very restless, you know? I can't do that right now. I'm not capable of that. And to be fair, having said that, I suppose I am realistically like setting myself up to be able to do that, because like now that my housemate's gone, I don't want to shit all over them, but it's been one of those where like I've really let the house stuff slip, because it was a case of like I would blitz it and make it perfect and clean and beautiful, and I'd get up the next morning and it would be messy and like bitty and just not nice again. And that really was sort of the cherry on top of things for me, to be honest, where I was just like, I can't deal with this, I can't maintain this, it feels impossible to maintain, and I just gave up on trying. So it is a bit grotty and grim, but I feel like now that it's just me again, I can probably get back to a place where I can maintain it and feel good about it and feel like I'm like able to look after myself in this space, because like I've definitely been lacking on like personal hygiene and showering, and I'm so achy and in like physical pain, and I feel like having some baths will actually really help with that, because baths do tend to help me. But I also like everything has to be clean and perfect, otherwise I don't feel comfortable in the bath, and I'm like so tense the whole time that it doesn't help. So if I can just blitz through and make everything really nice and clean tomorrow, and organise the kitchen and just put like, I've bought new things, a new shower curtain, and I can make everything clean and like put my own touch into like the rest of the house and not just my room. And I hope that I can just sort of make it nice for myself and make it an environment where I can rest a little bit and look after myself a bit more. So like I am trying to develop those coping mechanisms and develop those, like, I don't know what to call them, coping mechanisms, accommodations, whatever that kind of thing is. And I do also think that these videos are massively, massively helpful, because it is essentially just a stream of consciousness where I'm not really doing anything, you know, like I very much noticed just then that my words were happening and like thoughts from my brain were spewing, and I was not focusing on what I was saying or how I was saying or anything. And I feel like that massively, massively helps me. And listening to it all back when I'm editing, I feel like is also very, very helpful and beneficial to me. See, again, I know that's Otis, I know that's where he is, I know they're the noises he makes, but my heart just leaps into my throat and it makes me freeze up, and I hate it. I'm also hoping that once I've sorted all of that stuff, I can focus more on my creative projects again and work more on Puppet Tusk and that kind of thing. I am, like, not to be like, I'm so concerned because I don't have a desk chair, but I literally only have like a shitty, horrible metal fold out chair now. And like, I'm not going to be able to sit there for hours on end and hyper focus on doing my thing, you know? I really need to buy a desk chair, but I've already had to go out and buy like pots and pans and knives and chopping boards and a shower curtain and a bath mat and things like that, so I do not have the money for it this month, and I feel like that's definitely going to put some of my creative things on the back burner, which I'm not very happy about. But like, I'm just gonna have to live with it. That's what happens when you don't buy your own desk chair, you know? Like, at least once I've bought one, I'll have like my own desk chair, and that's that, then that's my desk chair. But I'm gonna have to wait to get one. I also don't have a freezer anymore, which does really put a jinx in things. There's a lot of frozen food that I like to keep in the background for like when I just can't deal with food. I have a lot of safe foods that are freezer safe, so that's another thing that's a little bit but you know, I guess it will encourage me to eat more fresh foods. I put a Holland and Barrett order in to get like a load of fresh, like not fresh, fucking, I guess they're fresh, kind of. I don't know. I got a load of nuts and seeds and like dried berries and like raisins and that kind of thing. I try really hard to incorporate those into my diet as a vegan and just to like eat healthy and make sure I'm getting like things I need. And I've been massively fucking lacking on that. All I've been eating is the Keely Horse sandwich and takeout. And I don't feel good about it in any way. So I am big time gonna work on that and try and get better with my eating again. Because I did definitely feel better when I was eating better. Even when I'm eating one meal a day, when it's just a meal with lots of veggies or some fruit or just like something good for me going on, I feel better like mentally and physically about it. So I would like to get back on path with that. I feel like I'm in like a good environment to do so, and I should be able to like hopefully do that. Again though, like it was the stool that was in the kitchen that I used to sit on was my housemate's. So I either have to stand up in the kitchen like a fucking normal person or buy a stool. But again, like even if it's like 30 quid, I just simply can't afford it currently at this point in the month. I need to see how the rest of it goes first. But like, it's one of those things where I don't necessarily want to like have to admit that I want or need that, but I sit on it all the time usually, and it definitely makes it easier for me to like chop vegetables and actually do things. So I probably should just admit to myself that it helps me out and get one, and it's just accommodate to myself, you know? Come on, baby boy. You gotta go be a cutie patootie. You can't see him, he's just a blob. What if I turn on this lamp? You can see his silhouette. Like, I do feel like this is perhaps a bit more specific to my situation and the changes that are happening and that than it is to like perhaps the overall experience of burnout. But I also feel like, at least for me, I feel like there's always some sort of thing happening in my life, you know, like whether it's been my mother dying or breaking up with my boyfriend and needing to move out and then needing to move out of that house. Like there's always a thing that's about to happen, you know? Like whether I'm in burnout or not, that's just how it is. So I feel like there's got to be other people that relate and have been through it and can hopefully give me some fucking tips. But you know, like doing this helps. Having little old man here helps. He's the best. I'm also really excited because like now Otis has the whole house. Like the other cat just never. We had a while where she was getting quite good with him, and then she just turned and like she couldn't look at him without hissing and going wild. So they never got good with each other. So we were constantly having to like open and close and let one out and keep the other closed in one of our rooms. So he has the whole house to himself now, and I want to get him like one of those cute little mats for like where he can, because he can have a permanent place for his food now. It doesn't need to keep moving from downstairs to upstairs and back again. So I'm gonna get him some raised bowls and one of those little mats. And he's gonna have a little feeding area, and it's gonna be super super cute, and he's gonna love it. It's gonna be so nice. There's also like so much space around the house now, so I've ordered myself a weighted hula hoop. It was a £5 on eBay. I'm well happy because my last housemate that I lived with had a weighted hula hoop and I used it a handful of times. I fucking loved it. I couldn't hula hoop as a kid, and I can now to growing up. It's fab. He does a little shiver sometimes and it weirds me out a bit. See, he keeps doing it, really? What is it? Why? See, everything's freaking me out. He's just being Otis. He's always a little bit odd. It's fine. Well, I'm gonna go and freak out just me and Otis for a bit. I hope other people watching are having a better time than I am. Please don't do your weird little shiver again. I don't like it. Like and subscribe if you fancy it. You can find me on Blue Sky, TikTok or Instagram. And you can also find me over on Patreon and Ko-fi if you want to. Great timing for them to leave. Whoever you are, don't come in on your ear like that. Whoever you are, wherever you are, I hope you have a lovely morning, evening, day, afternoon, month, year. And I will see you again in a couple of days.